Welcome to Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. Larry Michael at MetLife Stadium. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. The 3-10 Redskins taking on the 4-9 New York Giants. Temperatures in the mid-40s. There is a 10% chance of precipitation here today. Redskins and Giants. Let's check out the warm-ups here. Of course, it's an artificial surface at MetLife Stadium. The Giants coming off a victory over Tennessee. The Redskins coming off that loss to the St. Louis Rams. And to our left, we see some of the Redskins. Well, you see the Redskins offensive lineman, Sean Laval. There's Will Compton, and Will Compton's going to get the start for the Redskins here today. Keenan Robinson is out. Keenan Robinson, Brendan Merriweather, and Roy Halou Jr., we found out on Friday, would not be playing. We've got the inactives. Andrew Walker is going to give those to us in a moment. Actually, I have them as well. I won't have to rely on Andrew Walker. But you see Logan Paulson running by, and a lot of attention on the Redskins quarterback position. As you know, it's going to be Colt McCoy getting the start today. Robert Griffin III is going to be number 2. Colt McCoy, number 1. RG3-2. Kirk Cousins is inactive. So that's the deal on the quarterback situation. Also a late scratch for the Redskins, Jason Hatcher. Hatcher has a hurt knee. We thought by talking to Jay Gruden that he might play, maybe 50-50. I guess the good news is Deshaun Jackson will play in this game against the Giants. So Andrew Walker from Redskins.com is with us. And Andrew, you've always got those 4 keys ready to go. So tee up key number 1.
Yeah, well, we're in New York, or we're in the New York area, so forget about it. That's key number 1. The first time.
Forget about what?
Forget about the last time the Redskins and Giants met up earlier this season, because nothing really went well for the Redskins in that game. They had 1 sack, and that was about it. And then, 45-14 loss. The Giants had 449 to 329 yards, 7 to 11 penalties for the Redskins. The Giants had just 1 turnover. The Redskins had 6. They're going to forget about that. Key number 2, avoid Odell Beckham. This guy's just...
How do you avoid him? Because they're going to be going to him.
Right.
It's going to be difficult to avoid someone that they're going to be going to.
Right. Well, you avoid letting him have a big game. That's what I mean. But, the Giants can have a good rushing game with Eli Manning if he's on. So they're really going to have to pay attention to both that and Odell Beckham. It'll be hard for them. He's the first rookie since Bill Groman, one of my favorite players, in the 1960 Houston Oilers, to have at least 90 receiving yards in 6 straight games. So he's really on fire. Number 3, protect the passer. Not only are the Redskins kind of struggling in this area, obviously, this year, giving up the 2nd most sacks in the league, the Giants are on fire the last couple weeks. They have 15 sacks the last 2 weeks after just getting 19 the whole season up until that point. So they're doing a good job with that.
Timeout. You're talking about protect the passer. The Redskins gave up 7 sacks last game, and that blindside hit on Colt McCoy by Quinn made him struggle through the week, obviously. The injury situation to his neck, he's a hit away from going out, so they better protect that passer.
Right, and the unfortunate thing about that play in particular was it was a busted thing. The center thought he hurt a hut and snapped it, and McCoy was good enough to get the ball, but as right as he got the ball, he got hit. So it was an unfortunate thing, and he's had a sore neck all week, but he's been cleared to play. So Coach Gruden's going to go with him. Finally, be something special. The Redskins obviously last year had their struggles on special teams, opened the year with some struggles on special teams. Then they kind of shored it up. Well, Adam Hayward went out with a season-ending injury, and since then, especially last week, they gave a punt return touchdown, a fake extra point that went for 2. And then they attempted a fake punt to get a first down on 4th down that only went for 2 yards. And, they're really going to have to tune it up these last, few weeks, these last 3 weeks on special teams.
All right, thank you very much to Andrew Walker from Redskins.com. As we appreciate you watching Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. Working his way to the center of the field is quarterback Kirk Cousins. Kirk in the stocking cap there. He will not be playing in this ball game. It'll be Colt McCoy, RG3, 1 and 2. Going against the New York Giants. You got Pierre Garçon over here to our left. In the Redskins passing game and running game didn't get it done last time out. 0 points against the Rams, and that's not going to cut it. Not going to cut it here against a Giant team that put 36 up last week against the Tennessee Titans. Their running back, the rookie out of BC, Andre Williams, has come into his own, and Odell Beckham, aforementioned by Mr. Andrew Walker, has 59 catches, and he's got 90 yards receiving or more in 6 straight games. That's a good way to tee up Chris Russell from ESPN 980. How do the Redskins win this game, Chris? What has to happen here? Obviously they're in a funk, a 5-game losing streak. You can't say that the atmosphere has been very, very pleasing at Redskins Park. Everybody seems a little down. but this is pro football. Every Sunday, any given Sunday, you can win. What are some of the keys?
Well, I think first on offense, they have got to establish and stick with the run, Larry, especially when the game is still close. Too often, Jay has talked about this, that, the score kind of took us out of the run game. I think there's been plenty of opportunities in the first half where games have been close the last couple of weeks.
They're playing your song, by the way. Listen.
What song
I think
is
this is what they were served. This is what it was playing when you were eating your Italian dinner last night.
The Brajol. Anyway. But here's the thing. What's interesting is Alfred Morris at this time last year, through 13 games, had 218 carries. This year, through 13 games, he has 218 carries. The difference is last year at this point he was averaging 4.72 yards per carry. This year it's about 4.15 per carry. So there's a huge gap. So that suggests they shouldn't be as patient with the running game for various reasons. But I'm sure you would agree, if you can't run the ball or at least have the threat and do what the identity of this team was over the last couple of years, you're putting your quarterback and your offensive line in a tough situation.
I think this team is still looking for the identity this year, and that's one of the unfortunate things. Watch out, Russell. You don't want to get hit by a football here.
No.
But you're looking at a team here in the Redskins. What do they want to do? We have not seen anything consistent from the offense. Do they want to go deep? Not really. They've had a couple nice screen passes. Roy Halou will not play today. Chris Thompson might be the beneficiary. I love this song. But one thing you look at is the start, the slow start this team has made. I know you're, watch out, coming your way.
Whoa,
there you go.
Catch by Giants.
Alex, get a shot over here. This guy's punter, Weatherford's not bad. He's trying to hit our broadcast right there. There's Trent Williams right there. Yep, we've got to keep an eye on that.
That was a pretty good kick. Yeah.
But you're a stat guy, I know, and I don't know if you know the answer to this one. I do, but I'm going to see if you do, and then I'll surprise you.
All right.
What do the Redskins average in the first quarter this year? What is the point total they average in the first quarter this year? It's just one of those stats, easy to find. You look at the quarter-by-quarter numbers, you divide it by 13, you're going to be shocked.
I don't know it offhand, but I'm going to take a good educated guess and say it's 4.5 points in the first quarter.
2.5.
Ooh.
Less than a field goal they average in the first quarter. So that is another indication this team still struggling to find an identity.
Yeah, no doubt. And we've talked about this over and over again. How do you I think an offense, and a bad offense at that, hurts the defense as well. And that, and that has kind of left them exposed, and they're not good enough or deep enough or talented enough or healthy enough because of the losses of D'Angelo Hall, Brian Arakpo, Jason Hatcher out today. He's battled knee injuries and hamstring issues. They've lost Baker for times, Kedrick. So, I mean, it's really kind of been symbolic, if you will, of this football season, that one bad unit kind of fuels shaky performances in other areas.
All right, so the Giants, however, they have not had a good season either, and there's a lot of talk in this market about the future of Tom Coughlin. Yep. Will he retire? Will he be fired? Will he resign? You're going to have to wait till the end of the year. They don't make coaching changes very often here in New York. Pretty solid in that regard. But this is a football team this year. They changed their offensive coordinator. Eli Manning struggled mightily early. And really their high point of the year was the victory over the Redskins.
Yeah, I think they've made a lot of progress, though, in just the last couple of weeks. And imagine a group of Reuben Randall, Preston Parker, Odell Beckham Jr., and Victor Cruz next year, along with a couple of decent tight ends. Larry Donnell, who hurt the Redskins in short yardage situations for 3 touchdowns in Week 4. And then the 2 running backs that you mentioned, Andre Williams, the rookie out of BC, and Rashad Jennings. So if they can improve their offensive line and get Eli more and more comfortable, we know Eli's pedigree and what he does, especially in big money situations. I think the Giants have a real good chance to be a good offense next year. Their defense is a little spotty. Their offensive line is a little spotty. They have issues, obviously, only one more win than the Redskins, and they just broke a 7-game losing streak last week in Nashville. I just hope what we get here, Larry, is an inspired effort. Win or lose, I mean, of course, want the Redskins to win and look good. I just want an inspired effort. I want a close football game, one that it looks like these players really care for 60 minutes. And I'm not suggesting that they don't. Of course they do. But show us with our own eyes. We want to see it with our own eyes that they really, truly care for 60 minutes.
Final question for Chris Russell. These last 3 games, coming to finish up the season for the Redskins. Has the die been cast for next year? How much of an impact do these 3 games have on some of the decisions that need to be made next year?
I think it's very important for everyone, for players, for coaches. I think it's I think if you're not playing hard in these 3 games, and Jay has been very clear that what he's looking for is to find out who wants to come to work, who wants to dig a little deeper, who wants to get a little bit more out when the chips are down, because that's what you need to survive a 16-game season. If you're coasting, if you're not giving 100% as much as you possibly can, and they see that, that's going to be trouble. And that's going to be that goes for veterans, that goes for young guys. They have got to show this coaching staff, this organization, the fiber, if you will, that's inside of them.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Chris Russell, ESPN 980, does an outstanding job covering the Redskins. Alex, let's take a look around this stadium before we say goodbye. Give you a look at the gray look of the stadium. All the seats are gray, kind of the color of concrete here at the Meadowlands. The 166th meeting, Doc, between the Redskins, Walker, between the Redskins and Giants. So what is your prediction on this game?
Well, I think of last year and how disappointing it was to be wet in a game that we were going nowhere. I feel much better this year, and I think we got a shot to do something these next 3 weeks.
Doctor, you're dressed for the occasion. Is that a leather vest or a leather jacket?
It is.
Then we got some cigars coming from Carl Banks with some cigars. So, former Redskin, former Giant, he'll be on the broadcast with Bob Papa. Are those good cigars, or are they just?
He usually brings over some nice Dominican work or Cuban or one Cuban. Oh my goodness,
little short ones.
That's pretty good. Well,
right, victory cigar after the game, Doc.
Let's do one, Larry.
All
right, good deal.
It's about time. All right, I want to thank Doc Walker for sliding by. It's going to do it for this edition of Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. On behalf of our crew, we thank you for taking a look at this. Don't forget, Redskins.com every day for all the latest news on the Redskins. Follow the Redskins. Like the Redskins on Facebook. Follow the Redskins on Twitter. I'm Larry Michael. We'll talk to you in the broadcast booth in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching Game Time Live, presented by Verizon.